Right now, as you watch this, your brain is running predator detection software that was written before humans existed. You are safe. You are indoors. There's nothing hunting you, but some part of your brain, the oldest part, the part that evolved when we were still prey, does not believe that, and it has been trying to warn you your entire life. Every time you jump at a sudden noise, every time you check the door lock one more time, every time the dark feels a little too dark, that is not a disorder. That is your ancestors talking. They survived because they were afraid of the right things. You inherited their fear. You just forgot what it was for. This is the old human. We have explored how they walked, what they smoked, how they slept, how they handled hunger, and what they did all day. Today, the episode that explains why you are afraid. How did ancient humans survive predators when everything on Earth was bigger, faster, and stronger than them? The answer is not just weapons and fire. The answer is still running inside your brain. If you have watched other videos about ancient predators, you have seen scary animals and survival tips. This is not that video. This is about why your body reacts to danger that is not there. Why your heart races during a work presentation the same way it would race if a lion walked into the room. Your fear is not broken, it is ancient, and understanding this is the difference between being controlled by fear and understanding it. For 99% of human evolutionary history, we were not the hunters. We were the hunted. Every instinct you have, fear of the dark, fear of snakes, fear of being watched, the flinch when something moves in your peripheral vision, was forged in those millions of years. You were born with fears you never learned. They were given to you by ancestors who needed them to survive. In 1924, a worker at a limestone quarry in South Africa found a small skull. It belonged to a child, an Australopithecus about 3 years old. Through the eye sockets were two perfect puncture holes. For decades, nobody could explain them. Then researchers matched the holes to the talons of a giant eagle. A bird of prey had killed this child, carried it to a nest, and eaten it 2.5 million years ago. This was not a tragic accident. This was prehistoric life. And that eagle was not alone. Cave lions, 12 feet long, 600 pounds, twice the size of modern lions. Saber-toothed cats with 11-inch fangs designed to pierce skulls. Short-faced bears that stood 12 feet tall on their hind legs, the largest mammalian land predator that ever lived. Giant eagles with 9-foot wingspans that specialized in hunting primates. This was the world our ancestors woke up to every day. Prehistoric predators were not occasional threats. They were neighbors. Before fire, sunset meant terror. You climbed a tree or found a crevice and you stayed perfectly still until dawn. Moving at night meant becoming food. Our eyes are terrible in the dark compared to the predators that hunted us. Then someone, we do not know who, we do not know when, controlled fire, and everything changed. A campfire creates a circle roughly 30 feet across that predators will not enter. That circle was the first wall in human history. Ancient humans' winter survival during the ice ages, when temperatures dropped to 40 below zero, depended entirely on fire. If the fire went out, you did not just freeze. You became visible to the things that hunted in the dark. Homo erectus controlled fire over 1 million years ago, long before language, long before art, long before anything we would recognize as human. Fire was civilization before civilization. Fire was safety before locks. Fire was the original, "You cannot touch me." And fire did not just protect humans from predators. It created the conditions that made everything else possible. It extended the day into night, giving our ancestors hours they had never had before. Hours for toolmaking, hours for storytelling, hours for social bonding. The fire that kept the predators away also created the space where language, culture, and civilization were born. All of it, everything you are, started around a fire that kept the dark at bay. One human with a sharpened stick, alone, facing a cave lion. That human is about to die. The lion advances. The human backs away. This is not a fight. This is lunch. Now picture 10 humans, all holding spears, rocks, shouting, waving arms, making themselves big and loud and coordinated. The same cave lion stops, assesses, backs away. Predators assess risk, and 10 screaming primates with pointy sticks look like very bad risk. Ancient human behavior included mobbing, surrounding a predator, harassing it from all sides, throwing rocks, shouting, driving it away. This technique is still used by hunter-gatherers today. Predators evolved to hunt isolated, vulnerable prey. They had no evolutionary answer for a coordinated group that attacks back. Cooperation was the superpower that no predator could evolve a counter to. Cooperation was not just about numbers, it was about roles. Scouts tracked the predator. Throwers kept it at a distance. Flankers pushed it in a specific direction. Elders directed from experience. They had seen this predator before and knew its patterns. The group that coordinated survived. The group that panicked and scattered became food. Your ancestors were the ones who held formation. Pause for a moment. Every video about ancient predators shows you the animals, the cave lions, the saber-toothed cats, the giant bears. Almost none of them show you what happened inside the human brain during those millions of years of being hunted. The fear did not just keep them alert, it rewired them. And those rewired brains are the ones you inherited. Your fears are not malfunctions, they are fossils, perfectly preserved survival mechanisms that still work exactly as designed. Ancient human weapons began with the body itself. Humans are the best throwers in the animal kingdom, not the strongest, not the fastest, the most accurate and powerful. A chimpanzee can toss a rock a few feet. A human can launch a spear 60 feet with lethal accuracy. Our shoulder joint stores elastic energy like a slingshot. This evolved roughly 2 million years ago. No other primate can do this. The shoulder became a weapon before the hand ever held one. A lion has to get within 10 feet of you to kill you. A thrown spear hits from 60 feet away. That 50-foot gap, that distance between a predator's reach and a human's throw, is the gap between being prey and being a predator. Every foot of that distance was earned slowly, painfully, through millions of years of evolution. Your ancestors who could throw further survived. The ones who could not, their genes are not in you. Persistence hunting is one of the most terrifying things humans do. We can run longer than almost any animal on Earth. Not faster. A lion sprints at 50 miles per hour, but a human can run for hours in the heat of the African sun. We are the best sweaters on the planet. Millions of sweat glands across nearly every inch of skin. Predators pant. They overheat. We keep going. Every part of your body is optimized for not stopping. The same endurance that let ancient humans hunt prey also let them flee predators. If a saber-toothed cat attacked, our ancestors did not need to outrun it. They just needed to keep moving until it overheated. The cat could sprint at 30 miles per hour for about 30 seconds. A human could run for hours. The cat collapsed from hyperthermia. The human kept moving, kept sweating, kept surviving. Endurance is the superpower you never think about. This is why you lost your fur. This is why you stand upright. It exposes less surface area to the sun and more to the cooling breeze. This is why you have millions of sweat glands and short, flat faces that maximize airflow. Your body is a thermal regulation machine. It was not designed for strength. It was designed for distance, for persistence, for never, ever stopping until whatever is chasing you gives up. Ancient humans chose their sleeping sites with the care of a military commander. Elevated positions, harder for predators to approach unseen. Narrow entrances, easier to defend. Clear sight lines, you could see what was coming. A bad choice of sleeping site meant death. The sites that worked were reused for tens of thousands of years. Generations were born and died in the same sheltered spot. And they did not just choose safe sites, they modified them. Thorny branches piled at cave entrances, a natural barbed wire, rocks stacked to narrow passageways, the first defensive architecture. The earliest human construction was not a temple, not a palace, not a home. It was a barrier, built to keep predators out. The first wall in history was not built against other humans. It was built against the dark. During the Ice Ages, the world was even more hostile. Temperatures of 40 below zero, glaciers covering half of Europe and North America. And the predators had evolved for the cold. How did a naked ape from Africa walk into that world and survive? Through cooperation, through fire, and through an absolutely unbreakable will to live. Ice Age survival was not about individual strength. It was about refusing to die alone. Ancient humans' winter survival meant huddling in caves wrapped in furs, tending fires that never went out, sharing body heat in sleep piles, and standing guard through the longest, darkest nights. The same species that evolved under the African sun walked into the frozen north and survived. Not because they were strong, because they were smart, they were together, and they never, ever gave up. Your brain has a dedicated predator detection circuit. It is called the amygdala. It fires faster than conscious thought. You flinch before you know why you flinched. You jump before you know what made the sound. This circuit was trained for millions of years by real predators, and it still works. It does not know that the predators are gone. It is still scanning, still watching, still ready. Infants who have never seen a snake will still show a fear response when shown one. They detect snakes faster than neutral objects, before they can walk, before they can talk, before anyone has taught them that snakes are dangerous. This is not learned behavior. This is inherited. This is millions of years of evolution hardwired into your nervous system. Your ancestors who were not afraid of snakes did not live long enough to become your ancestors. Your fear of the dark is not irrational. It is the voice of your ancestors whispering, "Be careful." That whisper kept them alive for millions of years. Every night they spent in the dark, something was hunting them. The ones who were not afraid, those genes did not survive. You are descended from the ones who checked the shadows, the ones who listened to the whisper, the ones whose fear kept them alive. Anxiety is not a disorder. It is a survival system aimed at the wrong targets. Your heart racing before a presentation, your palms sweating during a difficult conversation, your muscles tensing when you hear bad news. This is the fight-or-flight response that saved your ancestors when a predator attacked. Your brain cannot tell the difference between a lion and a boss who might fire you. The software is the same. Only the threats have changed. Here is what none of the other videos will tell you. Ancient humans survived predators not just with weapons and fire. They survived with stories. Around the fire every single night, they told each other about the predators they faced. Those stories encoded survival information: which predators hunt at night, where they hunt, how to avoid them, what to do if you encounter one. Those stories became myths, and those myths are still in your head. Ancient human stories were not just entertainment. They were survival manuals. Every myth about monsters in the dark, dragons, werewolves, things that hunt at night, is a distant echo of real predators that your ancestors faced. The story got embellished over thousands of years. The cave lion became a dragon, but the fear is the same. The warning is the same. Do not go into the dark alone. The monsters in your nightmares are real. They are the ghosts of predators that hunted your ancestors, processed through thousands of years of storytelling into the forms we recognize today. The thing under the bed, the shape in the closet, the presence you feel in an empty room. These are not imagination. They are memory, ancient memory passed down in stories and in genes. The fear is real. Only the names have changed. Your child is afraid of the monster under the bed. You tell them there is nothing there. You are right. There is no monster under the bed. But there was a leopard in the dark for millions of years. And the part of your child's brain that evolved to detect leopards does not understand that leopards are gone. It detects danger. It sounds the alarm. That alarm is what your child feels. It is not nothing. It is ancient. And then, after millions of years of being hunted, the prey became the predator. With cooperation, with fire, with throwing weapons, with endurance, humans went from hiding in trees to hunting the largest animals on Earth. Wherever humans arrived, the megafauna disappeared. Australia 50,000 years ago. The Americas 15,000 years ago. The pattern is overwhelming, and it repeats on every continent. We did not just survive, we remade the planet. The species that was prey for 99% of its existence became the most dangerous predator in the history of the Earth. Mammoths, giant ground sloths, saber-toothed cats, all gone. The trembling ape that hid in trees now walked at the top of the food chain, and somewhere deep in our brains, we still remembered what it felt like to be the one hiding. You check the door locks 3 times before bed. You know the feeling, that nagging sense that something is not quite safe. Your ancient brain knows the dark is dangerous. It remembers the predators. It remembers that isolation at night meant death. So it sends you back to check the lock one more time. This is not a disorder. This is your ancestors keeping you alive long after the predators they feared have gone extinct. Ancient humans survived another night and came home to celebration. They embraced their family around the fire. They shared the relief and the gratitude. The connection after danger was as important as the defense itself. You survive another stressful workday and come home to scroll alone. Same species. Same need for connection after fear, completely different world, and it shows. The ancient defense scoreboard is almost perfect. Fire, 10 out of 10. Cooperation, 10. Throwing, 10. Endurance, 10. Shelter, 9. Vigilance, 10. Total, 59 out of 60. These abilities kept our ancestors alive for millions of years in the most dangerous environments on Earth. The modern defense scoreboard tells a different story. We have locks, 10 out of 10, but our anxiety is high, and our cooperation is a 2. Our vigilance has become paranoia. Total, 23 out of 60. We traded real predators for imagined ones, and our bodies still respond exactly the same way. Let us update the chalkboard. 6 episodes. 6 things ancient humans survived and mastered. 2 more to go, medicine and clothing. Season 1 of The Old Human is nearly complete, and the picture of the ancient human body is almost finished. In the Museum of Lost Human Defenses, fire as the original wall, cooperative defense as the weapon no predator could counter, throwing evolution, 60 feet between life and death, persistence hunting, the superpower of never stopping, and inherited fear, the fossil in your brain that still fires every time something moves in the dark. These are not ancient history. These are still inside you, right now. There is a frame in the museum that shows a modern human looking at their own fear with understanding rather than panic. The realization that anxiety is not a malfunction. It is a 6-million-year-old survival system. The same system that saved your ancestors from cave lions is now trying to save you from spreadsheets. It is not the system that is wrong. It is the targets. The Old Human teaches us 2 things about fear. 1. Fear is not weakness. It is the voice of your ancestors telling you to pay attention. They survived because they listened to it. You can too, without being controlled by it. Understand where your fear comes from, and it stops being a disorder and becomes information. 2. Cooperation was our greatest weapon against predators, and we have never been more isolated than we are right now. The cure for fear is other people. Your ancestors knew this. They faced the dark together. They drove off predators together. They survived together, and they celebrated together. The connection was the point. It still is. Next time on The Old Human, ancient humans survived predators through intelligence and courage, but when they got injured, a broken bone, an infected wound, a fever that would not break, there were no hospitals, no antibiotics, no doctors. How did ancient humans survive without medicine? 6 episodes on how they survived the world. Now, how they survived their own bodies. The oldest brain surgery is 7,000 years old, and patients lived. How did they heal without anything we would call medicine? That is next time on The Old Human. If you made it this far, you now understand that your fear is not broken. It is 6 million years old. It kept your ancestors alive through cave lions, saber-toothed cats, and Ice Age nights. That voice in your head that says, "Be careful," that is the voice that made sure you exist. Listen to it, respect it, but do not let it run your life. Subscribe. This is The Old Human.